Welcome to Coach Chloe. Happy Mother's Day to all the amazing mums out there. We have a gift to give you today. It's your special day, and you deserve something special. Would you like to feel respected? Would you like to feel like a queen? Would you like to feel loved and have a sense of belonging? Would you like to feel that you matter? What you do matters. Your life matters. Your opinion matters. Your thoughts matter. Then wait for it, because today I will be introducing the crown model, the crown model that is fit for a queen. The crown model. This is the second time the crown model is being revealed. And this time it's coming to you in the newest, simplest, and timeless framework. You will be able to carry the crown model with you for the rest of your life. That's the gift that you have today. So if you look at the word crown, C represents confidence, R represents resilience, O represents ownership, W is for wisdom, and N is for nobility. You are beautiful. You are brave. You're courageous. You're a fearless woman. You are complete. You are whole. You are all woman. And you are worthy to wear the crown. Brokenness is beautiful. Being able to know that all the brokenness that we experience makes us beautiful, has made us who we are today, has shaped us. All the joys we've experienced in life has shaped us, has made us who we are today. All the people that have journeyed into our lives and journeyed out or stayed in our lives have added to who we are today. Every experience, every person has shaped who you are and how you show up today. So let's just dive into the crown model right now. And we're going to kick off with the letter C, which stands for confidence. So, how do you emulate confidence? The first thing that I know, and all of these are my experiences, is knowing yourself, being able to spend time with yourself. Do you know that we spend more time with ourselves than any other person? Think about it. Do you know that we talk to ourselves more than we talk to anyone else? All your thoughts, every time you're doing something, whether you're in the kitchen cooking, whether you're walking, even right now, you have thoughts and you're talking to yourself. You're looking for places where you can fit into what you're hearing. So when I was a little girl growing up, I had an imaginary friend. And my imaginary friend, his name is Counselor. He stayed with me all my life, and he's even with me today. And I had this conversation with him, especially when I'm struggling with certain things. So, confidence is knowing yourself. The more you talk it out in your mind, the more you begin to understand who you are, what makes you happy, what doesn't make you happy. Now, there is a thing called negativity bias, which means we default to what is not working right. And we can talk ourselves into a downward spiral if we stay there for too long. The only way we can come out of that or emerge from that downward spiral of negativity is by knowing what our strengths are. Being able to identify even one of your strengths. What are you great at? Think about it. Take a moment right now and maybe put that in the chat. What is your one strength? Take a moment just to reflect. This is about you today. It's about you. You are the queen. My strength is asking questions. I'm a coach. That's what I do. And somehow I'm able to ask curious questions that get people thinking about who they are and who they want to be and what their aspirational self is. Another thing about confidence, being able to have confidence, is to set goals for yourself. And these goals are just a dream, having a dream for yourself. It's 2024. What's a dream that you have for yourself in this year? What's one thing that you want to do for yourself? Because when you have a dream, you have something to get up to every day. And that gives you confidence. It's for you. The spotlight is on you. And one more thing that I'd like to share, it's being able to step outside of our comfort zones. I know that's something that we hear all the time. But what would be something that's uncomfortable for you? Something that maybe that you wanted to try? Um, I remember about 7 years ago, 7 or 8 years ago, I was gifted golf clubs and I've never played golf in my life. I wasn't a sports person. I'm a musician. And I thought, what am I going to do with these golf clubs? However, I took a few lessons. Today, I love it. It's my happy place. It's where I spend my weekends. But I had to step outside of what was comfortable for me. Now, it's one of the most comfortable places. And I would have never thought if you said to me, you're going to be a golfer one day, Chloe, I would have said, no way, that's not going to happen. But today I'm a golfer. All of this gives me confidence. What gives you confidence? How will you step outside your comfort zone? What's a dream that you have for yourself? And what's your special superpower, your strength? Go ahead right now and put that in the chat. Share that with us. I'd love to know. So that's the C in crown. The R in crown is resilience. Life is filled with goodness and things that are not so good. There's failures, there's disappointments, there's setbacks, there's obstacles. But being able to bounce back is the silver bullet. Having a silver bullet, how do you bounce back quicker and stronger versus allowing that setback or that failure or that obstacle to keep you down? The more we linger in our failure, the more we linger in the obstacle, the more we linger in the negativism, the more we get stuck there. So being able to get unstuck is by finding that silver bullet. Now, earlier on, I just spoke about self talk. Being able to have a self affirmation, something that you can lock onto, or a mantra, some short sentence or a phrase that you've come up with, something that you've prepared in advance. So when the setbacks happen, when the disappointments happen, we're not finding a way to think about, okay, what should I say here? You have something prepared. When we are experiencing disappointment, or when we're in a place of feeling not so good, we become reactive and our brain cannot think as fast as when we are on a high or in a good place. So here's something that I have for 2024, and I have a whole list of self affirmations that I go to depending on what I'm experiencing. One of it is billions of galaxies. When I think of billions of galaxies, I think of about what are all the possibilities? What are all the opportunities that exist in this failure, or these obstacles, or these setbacks? So, billions of galaxies allows me to think outside of where I'm at. And guess what? I then get unstuck. Now, I'm not saying it's going to work 100% of the time. I'm not saying the silver bullet is like, okay, you have it and that's it, you got it done. You have to still work at it. You work at it. It's like going to the gym. The more you practice and flex that muscle, the stronger that muscle becomes. It's being able to develop coping mechanisms, and we know this terminology so well. But having a coping mechanism to help us navigate through tough times with grace and with determination. Having a coping mechanism, a simple self affirmation that will help us bounce back stronger and faster. Learning the lessons on the way. The O in Crown is ownership. So, taking ownership of your actions, your decisions, your personal development, your professional development. Sometimes things happen in our lives, and the tendency is to blame someone else. Well, he said that, or she said that. Well, if they didn't do that, then I would. Or if he didn't say that, then this would have happened. Instead of blaming others, refrain from blaming and let's take ownership. So here's what taking ownership looks like. What do you say? You own your life. It's yours. It's your heart, your mind, your hands, your voice, your eyes, your ears. It's what you're listening to. Everything in life is a moment where you can grow and improve and become a better version of yourself. So, to be fit for a queen, or to be a queen, or to feel like a queen, how will you fix your crown? Here's here's what you could do. It's by saying, what do I want? What do I say? What is my voice? And what am I learning? Because every decision you make, or a decision you don't make, is still a decision. Every time you refrain from adding your voice, you are making a decision. And that decision is not to add your voice. So remember that when you take ownership, it means, what are you doing or not doing? What are you saying or not saying? And how do you start your day? By saying, Chloe, what do you want? That's the O in crown, ownership. Now let's move to wisdom. So we've had confidence, resilience, ownership, and now we move to wisdom. So, what is wisdom? When I think about wisdom, I think about all the lessons that I've learned in life. I think about all the knowledge that I've gained. I think about the insights, my experiences, things that have contributed to who I am today and how I'm showing up. I think about how I'm experiencing life. I think about decisions I'm making and how I'm focusing on me so that I feel like a queen, so that I feel like a queen and I wear a crown. Now, I'm not saying my crown is perfect every day. Throughout the day, there may be numerous times when I will have to fix my crown by doing the things that we're talking about today. One of the things is surrounding ourselves with mentors, or I like to call it a personal board of directors. Those directors, personal board of directors, could be your friends, family, co-workers. It could be mentors or people that it could be your spiritual teacher, whoever that is. You can listen, you can bounce your ideas off. Now, remember, you don't have to listen 100%. Not everyone has the perfect answer because, we do live in an imperfect world. But there's a saying that goes, you chew the meat and spit out the bones. So listen, solicit feedback, hear what others have to say, hear what also ask others, people that you trust, how am I showing up? What is something that I'm doing well? What is something that you feel I'm making an impact with? What is something that I should be dialing down or something that I should be dialing up? Solicit feedback from your personal board of directors. And like I said, chew the meat, spit out the bones. Leverage wisdom from both your successes and from your failures. What have you learned from your painful lessons in life? And how are you turning your painful moments into wisdom? So at this point, go ahead and drop in the chat one lesson that you've learned. What is one thing that you've learned? Share it with the rest of women and mothers around the world. Let's share the wisdom. I heard Chip Conley say this at a conference that I went to, and I'm going to quote him. Our painful life lessons are the raw material for our future wisdom. Let me say that again. Our painful life lessons are the raw material for our future wisdom. We can look at failures and say that's a failure. But the moment you look at a failure and say, that failure became my moment of wisdom, that failure has no power over you anymore. It doesn't have a negative connotation to it because you've transferred or transformed that failure into a moment of wisdom. Okay, and now we come to N in the crown. So we had confidence, resilience, ownership, wisdom, and N stands for nobility. Walking with integrity. And I'm not talking about walking integrity for others. I'm talking about walking in integrity for you, for yourself. Learning how to walk in grace and compassion for yourself. Having grace for yourself. Having self compassion or self kindness or self care, caring about you first, respecting yourself. Because you know, when you respect yourself, you're not going to let anyone tell you or treat you any other way. Why? Because you are fit for a queen. You are a queen and you use the crown. Being able to love yourself is not always easy. Why? Because we are ready to look for what is wrong about me. What am I not doing right? Where am I failing? I can't get this right. And we look in front of the mirror, we find faults with ourselves. Um, how often when we take our phones and we have a picture on our phones or a photograph that we've taken, we go and we switch it up and change it so it looks clear and we try to make it beautiful. But I'm going to say something to you today. And I'm also saying this to myself. You are beautiful just the way you are. You are beautiful just the way you are. There is no one else like you. You are unique. You are special. Um, I I remember the day so clearly when after I'd gone through my divorce and I was changing my last name back to my maiden name, and I went to have it notarized at the bank. I got there, and the bank manager is sitting across the desk. So it was Valentine's Day. And I said to her, Happy Valentine's Day. And she said, Oh, thank you. And she said, Happy Valentine's Day to you too. So then I asked her, what are your plans for today? She said, Well, I don't have any plans. She said, I've been divorced for quite a few years. And just before Valentine's Day, the person breaks up with me. And so she said, So I spent Valentine's Day alone for the past few years. She said, What about you? And I said, Well, I'm spending Valentine's Day alone on my own, and I'm really excited because I get to be on my own, and I'm just coming out of a 29-year relationship marriage. And she said, Why do you stay so long? And I said, Because I couldn't speak up. So she said, I'm going to give you 3 pieces of advice. 3 things that you never forget. And I will never forget what she said because I want to give that to you today. Number 1, and go ahead and write this down. Love yourself. Number 2, love yourself. And number 3, love yourself. That is nobility. That is nobility. Being socially connected to you first before you can socially connect to the rest of the world. Social connection is a key factor in happiness. Being able to know who we are, having a relationship with you first, with self, so that we can have relationships, healthy relationships with others. So learn how to be comfortable with yourself with grace and with ease. That's the crown model. Empower yourselves to overcome challenges, seize opportunities, grow into the best version of yourself. The crown model is fit for a queen. Every day, fix your crown so that you can feel and think like a queen. You can walk and act like a queen so that every day you live as a queen. So here we are: confidence, resilience, ownership, wisdom, nobility. Who you are becoming is greater than who you were before this moment. Who you are becoming is greater than who you were before this moment. Have a wonderful Mother's Day. You are a queen. Use the crown, fix your crown, and become the next best version of yourself. On Mondays at 8 p.m. East Coast time, we're starting a new phase to the journey of self love into the journey of self talk. So please go ahead, like it, share it with others, and subscribe. Enjoy the rest of your day. Be a queen because you are a queen.